everyone. I am so incredibly excited to have worked with this panel of absolute excellence, especially over the fourth quarter. That was quite interesting. We have put together a ton of really great information, and we have a relatively short amount of time to go through all of it. So I'm going to keep this short. We're not going to necessarily go through all the biographies of everyone. They're printed in the brochure and feed front. If you want to learn more, you can come up and ask them afterwards. So we're going to keep intro short, and we're going to get going. Jen, if you want to start us off.
Okay. Hi, everyone. My name is Jennifer. I'm an affiliate manager with Greg Hoffman Consulting. And I'm going to keep my portion short so that we can give more time to the other folks here who have more technology to share with you guys. So I'm going to go over low-hanging fruit, or the basics. So these are the things the really easy things that we all know that we need to do, but they're really easy to forget about. The first thing is the affiliate program page on the merchant's website. So of course you want to make sure that it looks fantastic, it has an attractive layout, it includes the program highlights, link to the outsourced program manager's website or contact information right there on the page, and a link to the application. This is an example of one that I just think looks really great. It has all of the information and it's laid out really well. And I like to look over these pages once a quarter or so just to make sure that nothing has changed, or that there's not anything new with the program that I'd want to add. The network program page is very similar. It still has the program highlights and the contact information, but also including all of the complete terms of agreement. And again, this page I like to review once a quarter or so. So a really good program acceptance email, you want to make sure that it's set up so that affiliates can easily get up and rolling really quickly. So include program highlights so that they don't forget anything, the basic program terms, and also top performing ads. Consider including an incentive in case you can encourage them to get everything up on their website quickly. And then, of course, your name and contact information, never from the team. And I usually look at these emails once every couple of months or so, unless I'm using seasonal ads as those top performers, and then, of course, check it much more regularly. So I'm a huge fan of setting reminders and then forgetting about it until my little reminder pops up. So these are some of the tasks that I just put into reminders. So things like reviewing banners, replacing ads that aren't performing very well, keeping in touch with top performers, reviewing coupon landing pages, and then I know some of us don't use auto deposits, and so in that case, a reminder on Friday to check deposits in the networks to make sure that I don't need to make deposits. That's a good one for me. So keep learning. Ongoing education, things like these sessions here are so valuable. Also attending network conferences like Think Tank, CJU, obviously Affiliate Summit, and getting to know other program managers. I know I've learned so much over the years from other program managers and continue to learn from all of them. Back to the terms of agreement for a minute. Just make sure that your terms are very clear, plain English. Don't leave anything to the imagination at all. Establish clear rules, monitor them, enforce them every day. We use Brand Verity to monitor keywords, brand names, and coupon codes, and that is a huge help. We couldn't be nearly as thorough without Brand Verity. And then as a bonus, if you like reminders like I do, if you want a 2015 calendar with these reminders preset in it, I have a Google Calendar for you. You can add the calendar as a friend. I know you don't really have much time to write down that very long email up there. So if you want to bring your business card after the session, or email me at jen.c@greghoffmanconsulting.com, I can send you an invite and give you access to this calendar. That's it.
How you doing? I'm Joe. I'm the affiliate coordinator at fanatics.com. We run the affiliate program for Fanatics, for FanZed, NFL Shop, NBA Store, and about 20 other programs. And if my voice sounds like a shot, it's because I'm still hoarse from yelling at the Seahawks game a couple days ago. So I'm going to be talking about tools here. And when I talk about tools, I'm talking about network-based features you can use to effectively and efficiently run your affiliate programs. It's not external tools, it's not software tools you can use. Those are great, and there's a lot of them that are wonderful. But I'm primarily going to talk about the tools that are within the networks that are already there for you to use. And Karen's going to talk about API stuff here in a bit. I kind of forgot it as I was putting the slide together. So it's not going to be another session. She will talk about that and blow your mind. These network tools, they allow you to do a lot of things. You allow you to accurately pay your affiliates. You can pay your affiliates based on the value they're driving to your program. So rather than just paying everybody a flat 10 or 15% or whatever, you can break it down by their behavior, by what they're doing. You can reward incrementality. You can set specific behaviors. Like if you want to pay more for an order that's higher than your average order value, you can set those rules up. If there's a group of SKUs in your data feed you want to pay more on, you can set those rules up. And these tools also allow you effectively deliver content to your affiliates through newsletters or through creative management or through posting deals, different things like that. I would encourage you, if you're a merchant and you're looking for a network to run on, find one that has the tools that fit what you want to do. There's a number of affiliate networks out there. The ones I prefer that have the tools that we want for our affiliates and that we want internally is ShareASale and AvantLink. I'll go through some of their specific tools. I know eBay Enterprise Network is working on getting some advanced attribution, advanced clickstream tools and things like that in place. I know some of the other networks are working on that as well, but these two networks have some of these advanced tools that allow you to split your commissions up, allow you to reward the behavior you want to see. So those are the ones we work with in our programs, and they, from what I've seen, they have the best tool set available. And I know there's a lot of different CPA networks as well. I'm not too familiar with those, so I can't really give any recommendations on what kind of tools are available there. I would encourage you to talk to your program managers there and let them know what you're looking for and see if they can do that for you. So some of the ShareASale tools that they have in place, most of these have come about in the past year and a half or so. Probably one of the most distinctive ones for them is their clickstream rules. It allows you can see on your account which affiliates are in different spots in the clickstream. So if a blogger here sends the people to you, first of all, it shows that. If a coupon site jumps, if the customer goes out, searches for a coupon, finds it, comes back in, it shows you where they are in the clickstream. And it can have hundreds of people in the clickstream. Usually it's 2, maybe 3. A lot of times it's only 1. But it allows you to pay the affiliates where they are in the clickstream. If you want to pay the person that first introduced this customer, you can do that. If you want to split the commission between the first introducer and the person who closed the sale, it allows you to do that. So it just gives you a lot of flexibility in what you're doing and in who you're rewarding. You can pay multiple affiliates in the clickstream. If you say, hey, everybody here touched this customer at some point, there's some value in all of these, you can split it up a number of different ways. And you can lower and eliminate the payouts based on the clickstream behavior. If you don't want to pay for somebody that has been to your site, is searching, has added things to your cart, jumps out, goes and searches for a coupon and comes back in, and the sale takes place within a minute of that last click, you can choose not to pay that because that's just somebody jumping on somebody else's cookie, and that's probably not behavior you want to reward. They have some different transaction rules you can set up where you can pay based on the SKU. If you have a data feed loaded in to ShareASale, you can select, I want to pay, we got a great deal on this SKU from our buyers. We want to pay a 20% commission rather than a 10% commission on this particular SKU. You can set it up by category. So if t-shirts is a more profitable category for you than sweatshirts, you can pay more on your t-shirt category in your data feed. You can pay on the coupon code behavior. If you have a special code that you're putting out for a holiday or something and you want to pay more or less on that, you can set the commission based on the coupon that's redeemed. And most of these tools require some advanced pixel work. So you have to be sending the coupon code, you have to be sending the SKU and those things back to share a sale. So it's a little bit beyond the standard pixel integration, but it's pretty simple to do. It takes like 5 minutes if you know where to get the data from your system. You can pay based on the order total. If your average order is $70 and you want to pay a bonus for people that drive sales over 100, you can set those up. You can set, I think they calculated, and there's over 1 trillion different combinations you can do with all these rules. But then if you start adding in specific rules for SKUs and your data, I mean, the number gets huge on the number of options you have here. And one of the coolest things they do is you can pay based on if they're a new customer or not. So if you have some bloggers that do a great job reaching a new audience that you've never reached before as a merchant, and they're sending new customers to you, you can reward that behavior. If some of your affiliates are just capitalizing on your existing customers and getting those, you can lower the payout on those. So the new customer feature is one that gives you a lot of flexibility and a lot of ways to really reward the behavior you want to see. It allows you can set bonuses for new affiliates. You can pay based on the recruiting source. So if you're at a conference and you've been talking to people, you can set people up and share a sale that I met this person at Affiliate Summit, they signed up through this link, pay them 15% for the first month, or different things like that. If there's certain banners that you want to pay more on, I mean, there's a lot of options here, and I've only scratched the surface on what all these rules can do, and they keep coming out with more. They just released a new tool, a new tool called the conversion line, and this allows you to even further reward affiliates based on what value they're bringing. So if affiliate A sends a customer and they add $50 to the cart and they're going through the checkout process, then they jump out and they go look for a coupon and you have like a $10 off 75 coupon in there. They come back through that coupon site and they add $30 more to the cart. You can pay affiliate A the $50 and pay affiliate B based on the $25 or $30 they added to the cart. So it allows you to split commissions that way. It's a pretty new tool, and I haven't really had time to dig into it. The integration with it is a bit more advanced, and you have to kind of work with ShareSale to tell them what you want to do and how you want to do it, and they can help you integrate it. And they also just released a recruiting tool that makes it easy for you to recruit both internal and external affiliates. So you can see kind of who's in their network already, who's going to fit within your niches, and what you want to do and the type of affiliates you want, and you can send activation emails to them and say, hey, come join our program, we'll give you a $50 bonus on your first sale. A great new tool that has been needed for a long time that they have. And AvantLink has a pretty cool package of tools called Avant Metrics. Oh, sorry. In some ways, it's a big analytics program that plugs in, and it can see if different networks or if you run on multiple networks, it can see this click came from CJ, then it came from somebody through ShareSale, then it came through an AvantLink affiliate. It can see all those, and it allows you to easily dedupe transactions. So rather than sales registering on each of the networks, it will dedupe those and only pay on one network. It will allow you to do that with different internal marketing channels you have. They have some tag-based rules, so you can pay an influencer more than a closer. So it's a pretty elaborate suite of products they have, and I've looked at it a few times, and what they're doing is pretty amazing. Both these networks, both ShareSale and AvantLink, they're very helpful. If you have a problem with any of these tools, drop Brian an email, drop Chad at AvantLink an email, drop your network rep, Tiffany or Sarah or whoever at ShareSale an email. And they'll help you get all these things set up. They'll walk you through what you need to do to set these rules. Some of them, it can get kind of complicated, and if you mess them up, it can result in some either very large commissions paid out or very small commissions that your affiliates won't appreciate. So talk to your reps about these tools, and they'll help you get them all set up. And be sure to take advantage of these. Like I said, they require some advanced pixel parameters, and maybe your cart doesn't have these. Most shopping carts, commercial shopping carts that are out there, they have the new customer parameter. They have where you can pass the coupon code and things like that. I'd recommend testing these out on a small scale. Pick one of your best affiliates that say, hey, I'm going to test some of these commission rules out. If something screws up, we're going to take care of you and pay you what you deserve. But test them out a couple times first before you roll them out on a large scale. It'll help save you a lot of headaches down the road. And like I said, talk to your network reps. One small mistake can be costly. If you accidentally have a zero in the wrong place, you could be paying some huge commissions on things. And kind of like Jen said, you want to talk to other merchants. Talk to other affiliate managers who are using these tools and find out how they're using them. Find out what kind of incrementality they're getting from these tools. Find out what bonuses they're seeing effective for affiliates as far as getting activation and rewarding them. And be sure to combine your internal analytics. Look at what you as a company, you as a merchant are seeing as value, and use these tools to figure out how to reward that. If your company is using your affiliate channel to generate new customers, reward those affiliates that are giving new customers. If your company wants non-discounted sales, people that aren't using coupons, reward the sales that don't use a coupon. So find out, Kush is going to talk a lot about like internal metrics and what to look for in a program. Take what he's going to be talking about, combine it with this, combine it with the APIs. All these things work together to make your lives a lot easier and make your affiliate program a lot more successful and a lot more profitable for your company. And also, there's tools for affiliates in these networks too. I'd encourage you to become an expert on those. If an affiliate calls you and says, hey, I want to do this, and you have no idea if the network has tools to do that, or if you have no idea how the tools work, it's impossible to help them. So look at the different tools, like in ShareSale, there's the Make a Page tool, there's the Product Showcase they just came out with a year or so ago. A lot of ways they have so you can help your affiliates sell more. You can help them get your products in front of people. I know AvantLink has their product ad widget, and they have a lot of different API tools they use. So take some time to learn these. Do some quick videos, do some screen shares with people and walk them through it. We've had a few people for us that we've taken 5 minutes or so, and Wade's going to talk about this in another session later. Take 5 minutes, walk them through this tool, show them how to use it. And we've seen people make sales a couple minutes after using these tools. So it's very effective to know the tools that are in the network and know how to use them and how your affiliates can use them. It will greatly increase your engagement with your affiliates.
Alrighty, let's see if I can make this go forward. I can. All right. My name is Karen Garcia, and I know that is slightly misspelled there, but it's actually Garcia. And it does say I'm with GTO Management, but we actually just merged with Angel Jambazov, so we're officially Lab 6 Media. So, but my contact information still works, so there we go. I'm going to talk about APIs, and how many of you are actively managing an affiliate program right now, whether internally or externally? Okay, and how many of you know how to code in HTML? And how many of you know anything in PHP? Okay, so I won't get too nerdy on you. I could, but I'll just talk just to Daniel. Okay, so we're going to talk about APIs. Now, APIs they sound kind of scary because it is kind of programmatical, but it stands for Application Programming Interface, which essentially specifies how two different things talk to each other. Sometimes you have programs, one's basically speaking Greek and the other one's speaking Latin, and the API actually makes them talk to each other. Used properly, these APIs can make your lives amazingly easy. Really streamline your day-to-day, which allows you to get all that kind of daily paperwork out of your way, so you can actually do things that are creative and can actually let you do more important things with your day rather than just running reports all the time. Okay, most networks provide API access for both merchants and affiliates. Sometimes it's hidden in the network interface. Sometimes you have to ask for permission for them to add it to your interface. But most of the time you'll be able to find it in the menus. ShareASale has a great API. CJ has one, LinkShare. All the major networks provide API access of some sort. And APIs have a couple of things that you will have to provide in your programming. Whether you're doing the programming yourself or whether you're explaining to a programmer what you want, you'll need to include those credentials, which are usually an API address, an API key, an IP address, an API key, and a token. It's all listed in the thing. So when you get to that page, you'll see those it's usually like a 20-digit alphanumeric code. So sometimes it's labeled, sometimes it's not, but that's what that's for. These can be used to create in-house tools that interact with the network in real time. Sometimes the networks, the reports that they provide you in the interface can be delayed by 15 minutes, can be delayed by an hour, sometimes 24 hours. You can make the API tell you in real time, which is really, really great. They can also be used to plot data from multiple networks into a single dashboard. So if you have programs that are on several networks, 5 or 6 networks, or like poor Joe over here who has like 28 or 30 programs, you can actually put it all on one interface, which is really, really great when you have to do something big for the CEO or your VP of marketing. All data is not created equal. Often networks provide additional data in the API that is not in their reports on their actual interface. So you can do a lot of extra things with the API that you can't do just by logging into your account. Now, like I said, some of you can code and some of you can't, and that's okay. API and PHP can be one of those kind of overwhelming things, but if you don't know how to code, that's okay. So basically what I'm going to go through is what you need to know to be able to explain to somebody else what you would like them to build for you. All right, so here's the things we're going to go over. We're going to go ahead and go over what's available in reporting, what's available for applications and affiliate management, your transactions and reconciliation, consumer promotions, data retention, and then I'll touch a little bit on the affiliate API as well. So with reporting, depending upon the network, the KPIs that you are looking to track can often be on different reports. So you may have to run a transactional detail report for one KPI and then have to run a separate report to see how many affiliates have driven your clicks for that week. So you're running multiple reports just to do your weekly reporting, which can be a really, really big waste of time. When we first started, well, right before we started using the APIs actually, my weekly reporting for a single client would take me approximately an hour to an hour and a half by the time I finished pulling all the data points I needed, putting them where I needed them, and then doing the analysis. Now, my report for a client takes about 2 minutes to generate. So it's a huge, huge time saver. I don't have to sit there and constantly do reports, which is just mind-numbing. So you can generate easy pulls of your data by date. So if you have a specific week that you're looking at, I know some companies do Sunday to Saturday, some companies do Monday through Sunday. So if you have something specific that you need, you can customize that. So you can do whatever you want, however you like. If it needs to be daily, if it needs to be monthly, you can do that. You can aggregate your data by KPI. So if you want to calculate your activation for a particular week, if you want to compare what it was last year to the same week this year, you can do that. If you're running a specific promotion and you run it, sometime in March, and then you run the same promotion in August, you can do that. Put it in the API so you can actually have that report generate for you on the fly. And that's the comparison to previous periods is absolutely key. And it's really great because a lot of those times when you're running the reports in the network, to put in the year changes, some of the networks actually restrict your date polls. So this can get you around that. So you don't have to worry about, well, I can only pull, if I'm pulling a quarter worth of data, but the network only allows me to pull it for 90 days at a time, and that only works for January through March. You can actually get around that with the API. You can pull reports to push into other internal systems. So if you have a robust internal system that pulls like your Google Analytics or some other tracking, like through like Visual IQ or something like that, you can pull those into that system and do some comparison, which is really great for reporting against other channels. And it's also good for your finance department. All right, so with the APIs, you can also use this to streamline your affiliate applications. You can actually approve and decline affiliates through the API, so you can make your own little system outside of the network where you can aggregate your data, so you can see that, well, I already have this affiliate that is in my program in ShareASale, but they just applied to CJ and I don't want them in both. So I can contact them and say, okay, well, you know, I know that you've applied in both of these, so can you tell me why? And then reach out to them and decide what you want to do and decline them actually without having to even log into the network interface at all. You can also use the API to search by parameters. Again, this is one of the things that isn't necessarily available within the interface. So for example, in CJ, you can search for all your joined publishers who've listed their promotional method as email. That hasn't traditionally been available to do in the interface. So that can be really convenient if you have something that is time sensitive and you want to get somebody to push it out right away for you. You can pull all of those affiliates and say, send them an email and say, hey, we have this, here's some email creative for you. I'd love it if you could send this out today, and really streamline that process for yourself without having to go through and find each of them manually. Using an outside system like this also allows you to build kind of your own reporting system. Some of the networks actually have space for you to put notes about individual affiliates in your program. Some of them don't. So if you've done a specific deal with an affiliate to increase their commission, or if you've given them special permissions to do, bid on a specific search term or something like that, this will allow you to keep track of that without having to have a spreadsheet or a notebook or something like that somewhere. And it also allows for a little bit of longevity in terms of if you grow your team, it allows somebody to actively look at that deal that you've made with an affiliate without them having to constantly ask you, well, what about this guy? Well, what about that guy? How come this guy's doing that? It's just all right there. Okay, transactions and reconciliations. This is really, really amazing. If you do any manual reconciliation of your affiliate transactions, the API can really streamline this for you in so many ways. It does require the system to talk to whatever your financial system is, because obviously it's going to need to know if an order is invalid for whatever reason and what that reason is. So if it's a bad credit card or something like that, because the network does usually require that information to be put into the system. But processing voids, returns, cancellations, fraud, it's so much easier with the API. You can actually schedule it so it'll happen on its own. So you don't suddenly realize on Sunday night that, oh my gosh, it's the 19th and everything locks at midnight and it's already 10 o'clock network time, so you have 2 hours to do all of it. Especially with a big program, it's just not going to happen. Our reconciliation, most of it now is completely automated, so I don't have to do that sort of thing at all. And the great thing about it is by automating it to automatically check your orders regularly to push it into the system if something has changed. Not only is it good for the affiliates to know up front that, hey, you're sending a lot of traffic that people are either getting a refund on or there's a problem. It allows you to see that as a manager as well, but it also helps spread that out so you don't have a big hit in the network on your EPC, which affiliates can see. In ShareASale especially, you can also see, as an affiliate, you can see what your return rate is. So if you suddenly have 110 return rate because you've gone through and killed off a whole bunch of orders, not only from this month, but also last month, that's a real turnoff to affiliates. So it makes your program unpalatable, essentially. So by spreading that out, it helps minimize that a lot. And also with the API, if you have a subscription-based program, you can go ahead and set up recurring commissions, so you don't have to, on the first of the month, go ahead and reprocess all those transactions. It can actually just happen on the fly. And you can also flag transactions for personal review. So if you have an order comes in that's, I don't know, $8,000 or something like that you really want to manually check, then it can actually, you can set up to send you an email to say, hey, you had this really big transaction come in and you need to manually review it. Alrighty. Have you all glazed over yet, or are you still all right? Okay, consumer promotions. Often promotions do come to managers last minute, especially if you're working on an outsourced basis, which can be kind of a hassle not only for you, but also for the affiliates, because they need the information as quickly as possible. And especially during high volume periods like Black Friday, things can change, on the fly. A merchant might, make a last minute change, or might suddenly discover they're out of a product and substitute something. So with the API, you can do a lot of the push notifications without too much trouble whatsoever. If you have a lot of deals, you can push them all into a field into the deal system simultaneously. So you don't have to manually enter, 150 different product deals. You can just literally put in the SKUs and push, and that's it. It takes about 30 seconds, which saves you like 2 days worth of work. You can schedule deals to push them automatically. So if you do data feed updates, you can actually set up the API system to go and take your data feed and pull out the products that have a lower price point than normal, and actually push those into the deal feed for you as well. And you also can push deal edits. So if something changes, like a product goes out of stock or something like that, you can use the API to automatically push that information out to affiliates as well. So it always keeps everything fresh, and you don't have to do a whole lot of manual updating of that. You can edit them very quickly. Alrighty. Trying to go as quickly as possible. Yeah, I only have 2 minutes myself, or?
Yeah.
Oh,
sorry,
good.
you're
Lordy, lordy.
saving plenty of time for
Okay.
questions.
Alrighty. So, data retention. You can pull and save this data to your own servers. This is really, really great if you actually are switching networks, because you can save all of the old data from the old network, so you can still have it for future reporting if you want to do year-over-year stuff. Some networks only provide data for a certain time period, and then it kind of gets locked. But with the API, you can pull all that historical data. And it can also, one thing you need to be aware of is that a lot of networks actually restrict the number of API calls per month. So saving your data once per month and pulling your data from that will save you API calls, and you can pull it as often as you like, because you're just pulling against your own data in your own database. All right, and then the affiliate APIs. Yeah, there we go. Affiliates also have access to their own set of APIs. I would really encourage you to familiarize yourself with those. Create an affiliate account if you don't already have one on the network that you're on, and take a look and see what fields are available to them. It can be very, very useful for an affiliate to be well-versed in APIs. A lot of affiliates actually, have started to really move that route, so it's a good idea for you to be able to answer their questions. So I would really highly recommend taking a look at that. Some of the same stuff is available to affiliates as the merchants, so transaction commission reports. You can actually search for merchants based on keywords, so that's a great way for them to actually find you as a merchant. And then you can actually acquire all the new banners for a specific merchant through the API as well as an affiliate. All right, using an API. If you're building something, this is a screenshot actually of some sample PHP code out of ShareASale, but decide what you want your API task to be, and then decide, what is this for? Is it for reporting? Is it for a dashboard? What do I want to actually do with this data, and what does it need to do for me? And then in the network interface, it'll give you a list of all the fields that are available. So you're going to need to locate all those API calls that you need, and then determine any data that needs to be stored, and then provide that to whoever happens to be programming the API for you. So you can go ahead and do that, decide on the output, and and always test, test, test. The network is very helpful, so if you have questions about APIs, talk to the network. They can usually point you in the right direction. If you don't have anybody that can program, I can give you a couple of suggestions of folks. But at the end of the day, once you have this set up and going for you, it's going to give you so much more free time to actually be creative for your program and to focus more on those one-on-one relationships with affiliates. So, and I think that gets me to the end of it. So
Got one question for you, Karen.
Sure.
Where would you suggest somebody start if they know nothing about APIs? Are there any good resources out there to look at?
There are actually a lot of great websites that kind of give you the breakdown about APIs. Stick with things like W3. There's so much stuff on there. Bigger websites, stay away from the forums. For the most part, look for tried and true resources that have been around for a very long time. APIs have actually been in existence for a long time. They just don't get a lot of discussion because they're not pretty and they're not shiny, but they're a workhorse for you, and they'll do some really, really great things. And yeah, if you have more questions about APIs afterwards, come up and talk to me.
Okay, cool. Thanks, Ben. All right. Hello, everyone. My name is Kush Abdullayev, and I'm the Affiliate Program Manager at vminnovations.com. We are an e-commerce site, mass merchant, similar to like Overstock or Amazon on a smaller scale. We've been doing our running affiliate program for about 4 years, and it's been pretty successful, and wanted to share some tips that helped me along the way, and hopefully it will help you as well, related to metrics and trends. So one of the first questions, I mean, as a marketer or an affiliate program manager or a business owner or an affiliate, we should be asking ourselves is, why are we doing this? What's the purpose of the affiliate program? Different programs have different purposes. So, for example, is it to drive top-line revenue growth, or is it to drive bottom-line profitability, or is it to increase the number of new customers that you have? And the answer to those questions will heavily impact how you're going to approach, or how you're going to go about recruiting affiliates, what kind of trends and metrics you'll be measuring, what you will keep an eye on, and what will be important for you, so you don't get too distracted and kind of lose focus and get overwhelmed. Otherwise, if you try to do everything all at once, everything is important. If everything is important, nothing is important, then you're gonna just lose your mind and just kind of give up on it. So just define that for yourself, and that will help you kind of put together a strategy around that. So once you set up your goals and make sure that those goals are kind of in alignment with your company's overall growth goals. The first year I kind of made a mistake personally. I thought we were in the business of essentially growing top line, grow. And then I had a meeting with our CEO, and he's like, well, the top line growth is great and all, but we care more about the bottom line growth. So that was a misalignment. My arrow pointing was on this side, and his arrow was pointing on the other side. So making sure that your goals, personal goals, are also in alignment with the company's goal is very, very important. And that will actually, impact how you go about recruiting, what kind of affiliates. And then knowing and measuring, your key performance indicators. Essentially, you got to know what's excellent results are, or what is good or what is bad. And in advance, I apologize if my English is not ideal. It's my fourth language. So, but measuring success, like if you know what's great is and what's good is, so you can, you'll be able to tell how well you're doing, and you'll be in better shape overall with your, program and your boss, I suppose. So some of the more important metrics to measure, and I'll go over, what good and great is in terms of each of those. Affiliates recruited. One of the most important, driver of success for the affiliate program is number of affiliates recruited per month and how active those affiliates are. And a good number would be, for someone like us, an e-commerce site that sells a variety of products, a good number is probably 10 or 15 active affiliates recruited that are actively driving sales to your site. For someone like Amazon, it will be obviously different because they're huge and they have millions of products. For you, it might be different if you're smaller, but medium-sized retailer, 10 or 15 active affiliates driving sales, or driving traffic, to your site is a good number to strive for. On the other hand, what's a great, what is great or excellent result? I would say probably almost double that. So if you can get 25 affiliates every month, and they're actively driving traffic to your site, that's great. I mean, and you have to have those kind of numbers to keep yourself focused and making sure that you're on track and doing things and not losing track of, just basically getting lost and not knowing what to do. So those would be good and great affiliates recruited. And in terms of total affiliates versus active affiliates, every program has, hundreds of affiliates or more, thousands of affiliates. And in every program, usually I would say 10 or 15 or 30% of affiliates are actively driving traffic to the program, to the website. And a good number in this case would be to strive for, if you didn't have a number already, probably 15 to 20% active affiliates is a good number. So if you look at your performance reports, if you look at your trends and numbers, if you see that you have 100 affiliates and 15 of them are actively sending traffic, that's decent, that's good. If that number is below 15%, then you're kind of either you have too many irrelevant affiliates, the affiliates that don't fit your niche, or you are not doing a good job activating your affiliates. So you're doing kind of below average essentially if you're below 15%. So that would be kind of a benchmark for good is probably 20%. On the other hand, a great number to track and to strive for would be something like 30%. If 30% of your affiliates are active and are driving traffic, that's a great number. And I would suggest that should be your benchmark. And once you hit that 30%, obviously you can focus on improving that and there are affiliate programs who have 40% or even 50% active affiliates. Those would be the top 1% in my opinion. I'm not sure if you guys would agree with that, but it's very difficult to activate affiliates. It's part of our job, obviously, and it takes a lot of work. But those would be the numbers for active affiliates. Good is 15 to 20, and great is probably 30% or above. So keep that in mind. One thing, if you're focused on driving profitable sales to your site, I would keep an eye on conversion rates. It's good for top line as well, and increasing the average order value. So if your goal is to increase your revenue, you might be partnering with someone like offers.com or coupons.com because they have a ton of traffic that they can send you, and that traffic will be converting great and all, but may or may not be profitable because those type of sites are usually catering towards people who want to save money and get a deal and move on and probably not come back again. But on the other hand, if you're focused on driving traffic to your site that is profitable, that has a lifetime value of double or triple the initial order, you want to focus on those kind of affiliates, then I suppose you can kind of reward that kind of behavior. You can set up offers on ShareSale or other networks where you can give double the commission for an affiliate that drives you, say your average order value is $100, drives you a $200 order for a specific product that is way more profitable for you on average. So you can set up specific rules to reward affiliates based on their behavior. Joe kind of talked about it a little bit. Good networks have those kind of tools available for you, and it's helpful to use them. But you have to know, what's important to you, and based on those goals, then you can kind of monitor and reward affiliates. Commission trends. As an affiliate program manager, our job is, to grow our program year over year in terms of number of active affiliates, number of sales, number of the profit numbers and all that. But overall, taking a step back and kind of like thinking about it, it also should be to reduce the cost of ad spend. So if you had $1 million in sales last year and you spent $100,000 driving that amount of sales, your cost of ad spend is 10%, and perhaps next year you should focus, or maybe kind of looking at it, if you want to increase your revenue by 50%, that sounds great, but you can also kind of think about how can you reduce your cost of ad spend, because that's also great. Most companies care about reducing your ad spend, so I would keep an eye on that trend as well. It's a very important metric. Year over year, increase in revenue, decrease in ad spend, increase in profitability, and increase in new customers sent to your site. And then one thing to keep an eye on in terms of conversion rate, if your average conversion rate is what's for average, it's probably around 3% for most merchants, 3 or 4%. If it's like that, and most of your affiliates are anywhere from 2 to 6% conversion rate, and you see an outlier, an affiliate who's driving, tons of sales at 30% or more or 20% or more, I'd keep a close eye on that kind of affiliate. I mean, they could be great, or they could be doing something you don't allow. So knowing, being crystal clear on how they're driving that traffic, looking at the clickstream report, looking at the 2-3 clicks back, exactly where that traffic coming from is very important. Because if, for example, we don't allow trademark bidding, and it's one of the easiest way to make money for affiliates and drive 40% conversion rate or whatever, and if we don't know that they're doing that and they're sending that amount of traffic and we're paying them, thousands and thousands of dollars almost every day, that would be very unprofitable for us very fast. So, keeping an eye on those kind of outliers, the affiliates whose conversion rates are either extremely high or extremely low, you should be kind of investing a little more time in them and looking at them. What are they exactly they're doing? And perhaps if it's good, and there are some affiliates who can drive really targeted traffic, then you may want to work with them more and get their Skype information, get their messenger, and work more with them. But usually, I would say from my personal experience, it's something shady going on. So you definitely want to invest the time to learn more why that is. If they're an outlier, there's something more going on there. So. And usually, all networks have their reportings, and like Karen mentioned, you can automate it. You can pull all that into your system and have nice charts and see the trends and keep an eye on it. And I would highly recommend, suggest, and do what Karen is doing. And in general, we simply use an Excel spreadsheet to see our month-to-month performance, and that information is easily available in your network, just to see how much you've improved compared to last year, compared to last quarter, and seasonality-wise. So we're very seasonal. Some month we don't expect to be beating the month before, but knowing that is also helpful, and just keeping an eye on that and measuring what's important to you. Because if you don't measure, you don't improve, and likewise, if you measure, if you keep an eye on it, then obviously you'll consciously be working on improving those numbers.
Chris, I know you have a couple more slides, but we're running a little short on time if we've got questions. So.
Okay, sounds good. Yeah, these slides, you can look at them yourself. There's recruitments. One thing I was going to suggest to you guys, if recruitment is a big part of the affiliate program management, so there's a couple of really good tools that you should look at. They're not on the slide. You should probably write them down. Nerdydata.com. You can type in your competitor's affiliate merchant ID, and it will tell you who their affiliates are. So you can, if you want to, you can recruit them. Nerdydata.com is a good tool, and then another one is similarsites.com. If you know some site is converting well for you, you can type in similar sites, and they will give you similar affiliates for you. And I'll be here afterwards for answering any more questions as well. And there's a calendar you can download for yourself. Calendar is very important to keep you on check and make sure that your promos are running and kind of stay focused. So I highly recommend using a calendar, and we'll open up the space for questions.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a lot of information shared. Here we go. Tuesday, third day, almost done. There's a lot of information that we shared up here. We went through rather quickly. I'm sure some of you guys have some questions. If you want to take a deeper dive into some of these topics, I'm sure any of our panelists here will be more than happy to talk after or at a later time if you want to drop your card. We've got a mic in the middle of the aisle here, so please hop up and give us your questions. Or not.
Oh, surely somebody's got something.
Somebody's got something. Well, I have a question, and it's for you, Karen. So I work in an organization where we have to vie for our resources. Like, we have to give justified reasons why we need somebody's time to build something, and we frequently have to do proof of concept. So with APIs, obviously, we all know that they're very time-saving and efficient. But if somebody was just starting out on it, had very limited resources or budget that they had to go with an outside developer to work on, where would they start? What's the first thing that you would do?
So yeah, if you do have to vie for resources like that, and you have to prove to your boss that you actually, this is a project to take on both financially and time-wise, start with mapping your own time. I highly recommend go to AppSumo. I know that Noah Kagan is actually the keynote later this afternoon, but on their website, you'll have to search for it. There is actually a very simple paper time tracker. I use it extensively. I can show it to you afterwards. It is phenomenal in terms of figuring out how much time you spend doing tasks. And it it completely changes your game, because if you discover that you're sitting on Facebook for a couple of hours a day, it'll really fix how you work. But also, it gives you a really deep insight into how much time you're actually spending doing things like running reports. And if you can go ahead and take that information and take it to your boss and say, look, I'm spending 6 to 7 hours a week doing these reports. That's an entire day. And if I could take, even half of that and spend more time on affiliate recruitment, then we could get even more money in the door. So things like that can really, really move the needle for you if you have to do a proof of concept type of a thing in order to get the resources that you need to do an API project.
And which API project would you go with first?
Oh, I'd go with reporting. Hands down. Reporting. It saves so much time.
Sounds good. Still no questions.
This might be kind of just a real basic thing, but a few of you guys touched on working with a couple of different companies at one time, in different networks. Is that something that's, I guess, proper, or it doesn't kind of just do you step on your own toes over and over again if you're working with a few different networks?
So the question is, if you have an affiliate program, you're merchant on multiple networks, which has always been kind of a tricky subject.
Yeah. In a perfect world, I would say pick one network and go with it, become an expert in that network and what they're doing. There's instances where multiple networks make sense. For us, we primarily run on ShareSale and AvantLink. And there's a lot of good affiliates on AvantLink that we want to take advantage of, and they have some specific tools that we were able to use to leverage a bunch of social media affiliates. So simple answer is stick to one network, but there are instances where multiple networks does make sense.
Yeah, I would add on to that. You would want to look at where your competitors are. Probably affiliates are there as well. But definitely stick to one network if you can. There are reasons sometimes you have to go to, like if you're on ShareSale, for example, if we're going to expand internationally, ShareSale doesn't really do international, so then we may want to add an international affiliate network. But we've tried 2 networks, and from experience, trust me, yeah, you would want to stick with one, because the duplication of effort, the commission check and all that stuff is just a mess, and you don't want to do that. So.
Even simple things like uploading creative, you have to do it twice rather than just do it once. Even though you can simplify that with APIs.
Yes, but it's still frustrating.
And it's also a lot easier to learn one platform and learn the tools and become an expert in that than to divide your time.
And being on multiple networks, you're also kind of opening yourself up to even more types of fraud instead of just outside of your traditional. So, do we have any other? So the question is, she has a program on CJ. Is it appropriate to switch networks, and what's the best way to do that?
Oh boy, that's such a can of worms. So most networks in your contract with the network, it will actually stipulate that you are not allowed to recruit your affiliates into another network. So be sure that you read your terms and conditions before you find yourself in hot water. That being said, if you're going to switch networks, obviously speak to the network reps. ShareSale and CJ both have people here at the conference. And do some due diligence and some research into what you'll be able to do with the network, what you need the network to be able to do for you, and which network might be the best fit. We do a lot of work with ShareSale. We do a lot of work with CJ. They both have pros and cons. It just kind of depends on what your program is and what your goals are as to what the best network for you would be. In terms of doing a program migration from one to the other, there's a lot of steps that have to go into that in terms of making sure that you've got your tracking in place, making sure that you have reached out to your top affiliates, not through the network email, but privately, to let them know that you will be migrating and to get them especially moved over, because you don't want to lose that income from those top affiliates just by switching your network.
And I wouldn't worry about switching, because most top affiliates or performance, they're on all networks. Mm-hmm. I've gone through that process. I'm just the exact same position as you were, and I'm glad I did it, to be honest with you. And most affiliates followed us anyway, even if I didn't tell them. Ideally, you want to let them know a month in advance that you're going to be closing down the shop here. And then, if you have them on MSN or whatever, you can tell them where you're going. But like Karen said, be careful with, the communications and all that. But you should know that all affiliates are almost on all networks, so they will follow. If they made money with you, they will follow wherever you go, so it's not a concern.
And when you're thinking about switching, look at the different tools that are available. If your affiliates are fine with what you have in CJ, then I'd stick with CJ. If you have a lot of content affiliates that are looking for some more of the content-based tools that ShareSale or AvantLink or some of the other networks have, it makes sense to switch them over. So take a look at what's available in the different networks and what your affiliates are using and what they could do better at, and see what's available.
Any other questions back here?
I was just wondering what your guys' take would be, even if really quickly, working with couponing affiliates, couponing sites, and if you guys even do couponing at all. We're a marketplace, and so we work with pretty slim margins, about 15%. And so I'm just wondering what your guys' take would be on that.
Ultimately, I don't have a problem working with coupon sites. When I do work with them, I want them to be responsive to me. If I have an issue with something they're doing, they need to be able to get back to me quickly, and they need to obey our terms of service. We have fairly restrictive terms of service on what kind of coupon affiliates we work with and what they're allowed to promote and what they're allowed to do on their site. And if they break those terms, we have no problem getting rid of them because there's plenty of others out there to take their place. So we have a small group that we work closely with. We'd rather have that than working with a lot of them. And once again, the tools that are available in the networks, they allow you to pay those affiliates based on their value. So if they're just jumping in at the last minute and taking a transaction from another affiliate, that's not value. If they're helping close a sale, that's value there. If they're driving higher AOVs for you, that's value, and those are the ones you want to work with.
Yeah, I'm on the same page here. We probably decline 99.9% of coupon affiliates, but we do work with the top 10 or top 11, and we work closely with them, and it works, and we love them, they love us. It's a great partnership. And the rest of the, there's literally millions of coupon sites out there that are copycats. We don't work with those kind of sites. Just not enough. Yeah, not worth the effort.
Yeah, we're in the same boat. So, and actually, we do have a couple of merchants of ours that don't allow coupon sites at all. And so those affiliates we can't let into the programs, and so we have to monitor to make sure that we don't have affiliates that are saying that there are coupons that don't exist. So that's definitely something to keep track of and keep in mind. If you are working with coupon sites, making sure that they are driving the value that you need and that they're not misleading consumers.
One more question here.
When recruiting affiliates, what are the most efficient actions to be done, and where would you go to find them? Would you go to forums or just contact them directly?
I had a slide on that actually. You're welcome to download it, but I would say the first free tool is Google. Just go to Google. If, for example, we sell Vitamix Blender, I would type in Vitamix Blender review, and there will be 24 affiliate sites that are reviewing the product. Same thing, if you sell car audio, you can do the same thing, or you can do, if you have one affiliate that you like, you can go to Google, type in related affiliate website. It will give you a list of affiliates that are similar to them that you can recruit. But another tool I kind of mentioned earlier is, similar sites is like that. And then Nerdy Data, if you want to kind of snoop on your competitors, you go to Nerdy Data, put in their merchant ID or their affiliate advertiser ID, and then it will kind of give you a list of a 24 or 100 lists of essentially affiliates for you to kind of go after. So
There's also tools like LinkDex that will go out and search for every affiliate that's out there and find ones that are relevant to you. Another one called Group High that is a good blogger recruitment tool and kind of a whole contact management system. So you can contact these bloggers and talk to them. But those are two of the bigger ones. They're pretty expensive. They're pretty spendy, like $1,000, $1,500, $2,000 a month type cost for these. But if you can recruit enough good affiliates, it makes sense to spend the money on those.
Joe, you said LinkDex?
LinkDex. Yeah. DEX, LINKDEX. They're here in the exhibit hall, kind of right inside the door over. So.
Also, if you're doing some competitive research, you can also do a banner search. You can use Google Images for that, and you can do the similar search for that as well, and then it'll give you a list of folks that are displaying a banner. There's also a site called 10i, and you can do the same thing where you can actually either give it a URL of an image, or you can upload an image. So you can just download a banner, which is great from either a competitive standpoint, or if you actually switch networks or are taking over a program that has switched networks, you can actually put in your own image, your own affiliate banner, and find who's still running it from the old network, which is really, really great in terms of going back and recruiting somebody who at one point in time was an active affiliate and getting them into the new system.
Well, that's time. So if anybody else has any other questions, feel free to come up. I'm sure we'll stick around for a few minutes before we head off to the keynote and the Pinnacle Awards. Thank you guys for coming, and if we could get a big round of applause. Oh, and fill out your feedback forms.